Well, let's move to one very critical area. And of course, we're guided in this discussion, especially because the matter is in court and no other court than the Supreme Court. And because it could be sub judice, we cannot just go ahead of the court. So because of sub judice, you know, we have to be guided. But still a matter that we must go in there, right? So this case revolves around whether public funded schools can impose rules that appear to be strict on constitutional protected rights. You may have heard that Shafiq, who's a lawyer, has taken this matter to court. I'll come to you, Dr. Bonfe, because especially I think you're quite familiar with such situations. I dare say that you may have such a variant of that particular kind of case somewhere in the courts. But if you have followed the discussion so far, what's your position?
I haven't followed that much because I have not actually seen what the plaintiff or the applicant's reliefs are. But generally speaking, I think that one of the cases I sent to the Supreme Court in my personal capacity, sometime around 2017, 2018, which was decided, in fact, 2017, it was decided in 2019 on the relationship between the state and our religious aspirations. It was decided. I wasn't satisfied with the outcome, but we didn't also go for a review at the time. Facts have emerged that the Attorney General's office did not present the entire truth to the Supreme Court at the time. And I'm still considering some of those aspects with my lawyers to see what rights may accrue to us. But as a country, what we need to understand, MFI, is that we're a secular state. And secular in the sense that we have tolerance for plural religion or the exercise of religion, or even not to exercise any religion at all. You have a right to live faith and belief. So so far as that is done, people have inherent rights protected against religious aggression or religious excesses where some particular religion would want to impose itself on people. And in this case, in the education sector, can you say that if you are a student in a religious affiliated institution, which is a government subvented institution, strictly it is that religious faith that established the institution whose terms must prevail at all times? I think that may be from what I've heard. Let me read to you the issues for determination. No, so don't let us go in there. Ask you yourself questions. So we will wait for the Supreme Court to make a determination. What I just want to appeal to all of us is that people have a right to express religious faith. Now, when it comes to educational institution, some of the things have nothing really to do with the religious practices. They are about discipline. They are about order. They are about compliance. Now, if that compliance veers into an attempt to force somebody into a certain religious practice, that's where the individual may raise an issue. And I think that is where some of these things come. I cannot say that I am a Christian. I'm going to Tia Ahmadiyya. And Tia Ahmadiyya, they say that every Friday we should go to maybe the assembly hall. There's going to be something about Quranic recitation. I may not recite the Quran when I get in there. But I cannot say that because I am a Christian, I will stay out. When Tia Ahmadiyya has a principle that as part of its discipline, I would want to go. If my parents knew that they would not want me to participate in anything Islamic or anything, then they shouldn't have chosen Tia Ahmadiyya in the first place. Every institution has its own ordered staff. But to force me to become a Muslim whilst a student at Tia Ahmadiyya, in my view, is what may be an excessive attempt by the institution to force is religious.
What about preventing you from practicing your own as well? If it doesn't.
Let me say this. I went to Prempeh College, and as a secondary school boy, I'm an Adventist. I was not forced to work on Sabbath. There was an arrangement.
Okay.
My house prefect, and I say he's a minister now of the gospel, senior Pepra Mensa. His Mensa is spelled with H from the H beginning. So I didn't work on the Sabbath. I was not forced to work on the Sabbath. You were allowed to
practice your...
Yes. And to the extent that during my time, and thanks to the school chaplain, we had an Adventist minister come to preach. Not once. Dr. Safwa Du, Ata Mensa from the SDA, I think AP Mensa, my father's mate at the training college. So I went to Prempeh College, which is a Sunday worshiping school. But we had Adventist presence there. We had Muslim presence there. I remember my friend Kamil Muhammad, during fasting, the Ramadan period, their food was reserved.
Was Prempeh College...
it's Methodist Presby.
Methodist, okay.
It's Methodist Presby.
Okay.
So I'm not saying this to say my college is special or unique, but there was
that already.
Prempeh College was tolerant. We had tolerance, religious tolerance.
Okay.
Recently, I was invited by the Adventist students at Prempeh College, 2022 or so. Huge number. They've increased from the number we had at the time. So some of these things, I think they are also internal arrangements. That yes, it did not excuse us from participating in the Sunday worship, which was compulsory for all students.
Okay.
And which was part of the discipline. Sunday evening worship, Sunday morning, every morning we had morning devotion that we went to. So my view is that we will wait on the Supreme Court to look at the facts that have been presented before it.
Okay.
But I want to appeal to Ghanaians that we should be tolerant in our religious expression. There are Adventist institutions. Do they also allow Sunday worshippers who are there to, my understanding is that they do. But they also have Saturday compulsory services that you must also attend. So we need to have that balance.
Okay.
And see ourselves
Mr.
as...
Computer, stay with me. Let me go on Zoom and take Dr. Sasante's take on this. Dr. Sasante, I hope I didn't lose you.
I'm here.
Right.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation because this is a secular state and we have all manner of faith. You have Christians, Muslims, and of course, people like my good self. I'm a traditionalist. All right. So this type of interest in schools is very, very interesting. If you look at public engagements, even public functions, prayers have said Christian prayers, sometimes ended with Muslim prayers. And I ask myself, where do we find expression from traditional people and all that? You go to they start meetings with Christian prayers and with Muslim prayers. And people like us, where do we find ourselves in there? So the good news is that this issue is before the Supreme Court, and their ruling will, open the frontiers for us to see how we can chart path in these areas, particularly what is before them to consider. And then based on that, we can make informed, decision and then follow what ought to be the law. Okay.
Mr. Computer, I like to take your... I feel like when there are conversations on the corridors of government, you know it. And so if I look at some of the reliefs that the Attorney General is seeking, we're going to get some clarity to a few things that Wesley Girls High School, owned by Methodist Church, is not a state-owned. Wesley Girls High School has a right to practice its religion. Wesley Girls High School is entitled to government funding, even as a religious body. The state cannot take away the religious rights from Wesley Girls High School because of funds received from the state. In fact, the Catholic Bishops' Conference has also alluded to the fact that they're receiving some help from the government does not mean that the school then, the decisions and everything about the school will then be public. It is what the church would say. Is this it?
Well, I stand by the Honorable Minister of Education, Honorable Haruna Idris's statement in Parliament yesterday. I mean, he made a statement in the floor of Parliament concerning these issues, and I stand by it 100%. And
you want to remind us what he said?
I mean, it was very clear. Nobody should prevent any of our children in the school from exercising their
religious faith.
Their faith. We shouldn't prevent them. Ghana is a secular state. Okay, so he said it very clear, and I support him 100%, and the government supports him too.
So
our
this
party
ruling
to also support him in that direction. We think that MFA, the religion you profess, maybe I don't profess, that doesn't mean that we are not friends. We are not brothers and sisters. We are together. We do this in Cuba. How does that stop us from being Ghanaians? And so we shouldn't start from that point. Let's not prevent the children from professing their faith. Me, like you interviewed me the other time, I live the two faiths. I live together with them. And I'm so happy. Everybody's happy. My children, I don't even
Did you know he's married to both a Christian and a Muslim?
I'm a Muslim, and I'm fine with them. My children, I don't force them to go to any type. The one they want, they can choose.
I mean, the decision of the court then will become a standard for us as a country.
Fantastic.
As to whether if a Muslim or a Christian is attending a Muslim school or a Christian school, whether they can practice their religious beliefs. It will be a landmark decision that will shape.
Yes, and I think, you see, until now, it didn't cross our mind. You know, we didn't have these issues. I don't know. He said it very clear. Our days, in the 70s and 80s, we didn't have these problems. I mean, if you are a Muslim, you are in a Christian school, nobody even thought of it. You do your Muslim thing, and they also do their Christian thing. I attended Tamale Teacher Training College. Then every Saturday, weekends, we're having what they call, you go to church service, just to understand what they are doing. Then you could sing the Asimpa hymns, we all learn all this thing. Just to understand the faith of the others, so that you can live well with them. That was the understanding. Not that they were asking you to be a Christian or to go and be a Muslim. But it made me that in fact, I developed a lot. I remember one of my lecturers, let me say good morning to him, Mr. Muru. We call him Muru, tall boy. I mean, he was a Muslim, but he would come and whip everybody out to go and join the Christian distinct to hear what they are doing over there. So that one made us to understand, and it has helped me a lot, that look, I appreciate the religious faith of other people, and I can live freely with that. I can even go to them and attend their functions. Clearly, and there's no problem with that. It doesn't affect your faith.
Okay.
And so for this one, the Honorable Minister is spot on. He's a Minister of Education. He's a youth activist as well. He's been a youth leader. He was with Bonfair and Co. So
but it's very interesting because if the Minister for Education says this, and then the Supreme Court also now makes the pronounces, right?
Yes. Well, that's why I'm saying that. He said it in the floor of the House.
Let me hear Dr. Bonfair.
You see, and it was very clear. Articulated that, look, let's make it clear. We shouldn't prevent the people from exercising their faith. Well, we hear from the law lords, and they have the final say. They'll come out. You know, our government is a respecter of the law. Of course, we have seen it. For the 11 months we have been in government, we have shown enough that we respect the law and we go by the law. We are not like the others.
Dr. Bonfair, I see you come in. You wanted to say something. You wanted to say something about. You wanted to add something to what he's saying.
No, I think I've made the point that I don't see. That's why I said because I don't know what the reliefs before the Supreme Court are. What I know is that we are a secular state, and our secular status means we are a plural state. And as he rightly pointed out, I've exhibited here how my secondary college of education was tolerant to our religious views, allowing, including our pastors, to even, take their pulpit in a Methodist Presby, college to preach to us, and my friend Muslims who were also allowed those things. So it's about religious tolerance, political tolerance, understanding, seeking to listen to the others. I use both the Quran and the Bible. I accept them as revealed words. Okay?
Okay.
And there are some dimensions of my theological understanding that I got them better from the Quran than the Bible. Okay? And sometimes they are all saying the same thing. Faith in a God, faith in a supreme being, and how we all can manage our relationship with one another,
with the,
contingent on love.
Let's wrap.